are squawking dead. No more Christopher Walken intro, everybody. Welcome back. We're finally covering Fear the Walking Dead episodes 1 and 2, and we're here with Carol, Ashley Weidman. Welcome back. And then Rachel Burt, last but not least. And I think the first thing I wanted to kind of cover, because this is going to be a long one, so buckle up, kiddos, is Ashley, where you been? What you been up to? It's been a while. Apparently you have kids. I don't know.
Yeah, right?
You have family.
Pretty much my life is my children, and now they're out of school. It's all day, full throttle, 0 to 60 in the morning, all day.
Every day.
Every day.
Oh. Yeah. Well, yeah. So now that they've been out of school, and yeah, because I think the last time we saw you was the finale, right? I think we had everybody on for a little while at least. Yes. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I know.
Yeah, lots been going on since then that we've been reporting. I think the first thing we want to cover... and just to remind everybody, we got... if you're on any of these streams, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, etc., do us a favor on YouTube, Facebook. Just give us a like, follow us, like this video, comment on it if you feel like you missed something from the Instagram podcast, which is entirely possible because we often have to restart that thing. Most importantly, if you do listen to the audio podcast, give us a rating or something like that. It really, really helps us. I think the few platforms that we have that you can rate us on are, I know that you can do it on Stitcher, and obviously iTunes. I don't know if you could do it on Google Podcasts, but I think the only two that I know of are Apple and Stitcher, I think. So help us out. Help us grow. And then we'll be ubiquitous. Beyond that, we still have Rachel's charity through August. So I'm going to be pushing that every show. At the beginning, at the top of the show, if you head to the episode description, you can get the link now for YouTube and Facebook. Or if you're on Instagram, after the show, head over to CosmoMom09. The link is in her description, and you'll be able to get her to full alpha status of shaved head and all. And we will do the broadcast of this. Do you want to do this on Squawking Dead, or do you want to do this on your own Instagram feed? Because I think either way we can make it work.
I might have to do it on my own, just because I'm going to have a friend of mine do it. So I'll have to do it when she's available.
Oh, I see. I see. On your own time. Well,
more like her time.
Yeah, her time.
Yeah.
Her time is valuable.
It is.
Shave your head.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it.
Can we all shave your head?
Sure.
I'll go out there.
If you guys can all get here in August. Yeah.
I'll take a Spirit flight with no luggage, because then they'll charge me. I bet Spirit would charge you if you had no luggage. It was like a no luggage fee, like just like the middle finger fee.
Go find a fee.
I shaved Stephen Ogg's mustache. I can shave your head.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be easy.
Yeah, sure. She's a pro now. It kind of reminds me of like when I made my wife shave the back of my head once. She had nightmares. I'm telling you, she had recoil. She's so nervous. And it's not uncommon. Like if you ask a woman to shave a guy's face, it just sends chills down their spine. It's like, what if I cut you? And like,
right?
You're so afraid.
I'm used to it. That's what I do. So
you just get in there, Rach. Just get in there.
I probably scare people more than they scare me because I'm coming at them like this.
It's Rachael-Scissor-Hands.
That would be awesome.
Oh my no! You'd be wearing like a commander helmet, like a hard helmet. Oh, I gotta go in there. Yeah, with a cigar in your mouth, like between the scissors. Like,
cut my back.
All right, let's get into this thing, guys. Once and for all. Anyway, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was the insane level of promotion that they had for the show prior to and now after. Just to give you kind of a recap of what they did was they had each of the main characters do like the "we're here to help" walkie-talkie videos. They had the action videos where they're jumping on a trampoline. Yeah,
they're jumping up and down.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
The character cards, like the character feature cards where they show like smoke and stuff, and then they show June and John
Right.
Dory and etc.
Mhm.
You know, which is really cool. And then last but not least, right before the season premiere, they had like a Fear Airlines promo for some odd reason.
Yeah, that was weird.
But I guess there is an airplane in the first episode, which we will
Yeah.
talk about.
Like, kinda.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Loosely. But it was funny as hell, though. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there even a government? You know, FAA, federal regulations require you to not smoke. I love that line. But like, and then now afterwards they have like the first of all, like, so we've only had 2 episodes, right? And 2 episodes, and then like you've had the like the multiple kill videos. So to like, and Alicia's won both, obviously.
Right.
But like it's all like a video game kind of pixel-esque, multiple kills, team assist kills, like, you know, and things like that. And I just love just the way they're kind of revolving in the marketing and stuff like that. They had the Walkies Award, I think. Let me see. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, the Walkies, where they give Alicia like it was like a pop figure, I think, right? It looked like a golden pop figure or something. And it was like best improvised kill. And it was like Alicia Debnam Carey. And she was like, you know, I won this award, you know, obviously, because it was a propeller. So like, what was your impression? Because like, I feel like they put a lot more juice into this season of Fear the Walking Dead. You know, they've progressively been giving it more and stopped treating it like an experiment. You know, what was your impression of the marketing tactics? Right.
I didn't see that last thing you were talking about with the awards and such, but the other, like them jumping on the trampolines and like the, you know, really pushing for the new season. Well, I mean, they're probably just trying to get people to hang on.
Yeah.
For dear life.
Maybe just since it wasn't
don't leave.
backed up to The Walking Dead, maybe that's why.
Wait,
you know,
what was that?
Maybe since it wasn't backed up to The Walking Dead, like,
Okay.
because last year they did the whole theater thing where they did the finale of The Walking Dead, and then they jumped right into you know, they might have did that more for Morgan's crossover, but maybe since it wasn't so close together, they
That
wanted
could be.
to promote it more.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget about us.
Yeah,
Right.
there was a little bit of an overlap though, I think, between because they've been marketing this thing, I think, since I think midway into the last bit of the season too. So they've been marketing this for like at least a month and a half, I think, before the season ended, or like the last 4 episodes, I believe, of The Walking Dead.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, you know, all these things afterwards though too. It's like all these promo things after it started airing though too. I just find that they keep wanting to push that production or that marketing angle to kind of keep people watching and stuff like that. Oh yeah, look, we're cool. Like, Carol, what did you think? Oh, hey, and we have to get us back. One day I'll get this right. Bear with me, guys. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis. Hold up a sec. This is stupid. I meant to get this before the
That's your term. This is stupid.
This is stupid. It's broadcasting. No, because I meant to actually purchase the thing right before the show, but like I didn't have enough time. And we were talking about ways to kind of make the show a little bit more interesting, which, you know, hopefully we might be able to demo sooner than I hope. But hold on a second. I just need to get my notes up and get Instagram up. We're so professional. Okay, but I'm just in love with the way they're not letting up. They're kind of pushing the envelope in terms of like really investing in the show. And I think they have to. That's the thing I kind of want to talk about, because there's a lot riding on this season of Fear. I mean, with all the...
Why do you say that?
Well, with all this, the spinoff coming from this season of Fear the Walking Dead, I think a lot of the genesis for the movie and what propels TWD season 10. Like, not directly, but like there's definitely going to be links to what happens in TWD based on this season of Fear, which is why I've been telling everybody to watch. And I think AMC's kind of finally treating Fear the Walking Dead as kind of like a key player instead of just kind of like an ancillary side story.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Almost like something to get by when The Walking Dead's not on, you know?
Yeah. Well, and even more so.
Right.
Hey, Dave, are you recording? It usually says recording on my screen.
Son of a bitch, you got me.
There it is.
That's fine because, like, you know, whatever. We've covered this bit of it anyway. Thank you for calling me out on that, though.
Could have went on longer.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it's not something we didn't say in the last episode. Like, there's a lot riding on this season of Fear the Walking Dead between the spin-off, the movies, and TWD. All of those are going to have Fear the Walking Dead is going to have bits and origins of of what's to come in all of these series. So they're going to have a hand in that. So it seems like that's what it's going to shape up to be. Like if what is obviously turning out to be the Commonwealth is emerging from this season of Fear the Walking Dead. And a lot of people playing those clips of Rick on the radio, or the radio, Jadis is walkie, and what's going on. And as well as, I mean, and I was going to save this for the end of this podcast, but like the radio scene at the end of TWD season 9, you know, we're postulating, could it have been somebody from Fear the Walking Dead? You know what I mean? Could that voice have been somebody on Fear? You know, and I think one of the first things I wanted to talk about is that where we are in the timeline, because, and why don't we go around the room? Like, Carol, where do you think we are currently in the timeline in terms of the beginning of Fear the Walking Dead?
That's tricky because, I mean, they play with time so much that it's a little difficult for me to really kind of like nail down. I do think it's possible that season finale for season 9 of The Walking Dead, maybe the person on the other end of the walkie-talkie could be somebody in relation to Fear. I mean, who that would be, I don't know. Maybe somebody that we haven't met yet. I'm not sure. I think that for me, the part that I'm more intrigued about, I mean, is more so like this was in like the first episode of the season for Fear, was that the CRM group with the interlocking circles and all of that, because we've seen that on the helicopter on The Walking Dead, and we've seen it also on the can that Jadis ate the food from in the junkyard. So
you were like, what symbol is that? Like at the time I was like, no, the 3 circles, come on and make something.
So it's all kind of like coming together, and I'm trying to see, like, I'm excited to see that it's kind of coming together. So that's something for me, like that's what keeps me watching Fear right now. Like, I'm glad that they started I'm glad that they started off this season with that, you know, because it's sort of like, okay, I want to know more. I want to know where this is heading
and how relevant it is.
How relevant is it? And also, like with Dwight too, it's like, I want to see, are we going to get some backdrop as to what happened at the sanctuary after the war? Like, because we don't really get much into that on The Walking Dead. So Do you
really think we'll get a background though? Because
I don't know.
On Dwight?
Because Dwight was sent away. I mean, it's not like he goes back to the sanctuary. I mean, he was sent away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's why I asked the first question I wanted to ask, because we will see Dwight in the next episode, just so everybody knows.
Which I called, by the way.
You did.
Which is weird because they showed Daniel Salazar in the second episode, which we are covering here on this episode too, and the very next episode is Dwight. What are they going to show the next episode? Sherry.
Yeah,
and that's probably. And I will get to that at the end of the episode, episode, because there are some things that have been churning in my brain. But why I wanted to talk about the timeline was, I mean, my theory is that we have to be somewhere in between the time jump, and I would say more earlier on than one would normally say. I would say probably a few months after Rick Grimes goes away in the helicopter. That's my thought. Right. You know, a lot of people are trying to line up what happens on The Walkie with what happens on Fear the Walking Dead. I think that's too much of a stretch to me to be
Right.
honest.
Are you talking about when she's in the junkyard with Gabriel? Is that what you're talking?
Less.
Is that what you're talking about?
Is it that, or it could be? No,
Or-
yeah,
yeah.
right
okay.
before Rick gets picked up, and there's
Right,
that noise
okay.
on the walkie. So I think it would be cool. It would be really cool, and I'd be happy to be wrong. But I would probably venture a guess that, and the reason I'll give you the clear reason was something that we pointed out at the beginning of season 9 of The Walking Dead was a lot of the weather events that happened affected the bridges and all the stuff that was going on at the beginning of the season. So there, between the storm and what happened and Martha and they must be a few months after Rick gets picked up by the helicopter. It has to be. I mean, otherwise they're kind of playing too much. They're playing the wrong game of time in my mind. And I mentioned it, and I think it's it's a solid theories you're gonna get. Just because of those weather events, the hurricanes that happened to Fear the Walking Dead affecting the bridges in The Walking Dead, and, it being a global thing, nationwide thing. And so the reason why I think that's important is because it determines how plausible it is, how long Dwight's been looking for Sherry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Could he been looking for 4 years? No. Could he been looking for only a short period of time? I think it's a little too soon. But this seems like just the right amount of he's been on this mission. Maybe he's about to give up hope. You know, it's been. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Oh, it's obviously she's come back to that house. I mean, because she wrote him another note.
Right.
By the time he came back, so.
And she could have she only waited for so long, I suppose.
Right.
You know. I mean, and how long were the events between the time she wrote the original letter and the
probably
time,
not long. I
like
mean,
2 months.
That whole war with Negan was such a short period of time,
like a week.
Because he went to the
at
house.
least 2 weeks.
Right. He went to the house, saw the note, and then he had the beer, the pretzels, whatever, and then he left, and then there was another note when he came back. So it couldn't have been.
I say we all have beer and pretzels for the next podcast.
All right. I'm
good.
fine with that.
Seriously.
But yeah. Oh, look, we got Des on the stream too. Des is the stand-in for Coleman Domingo, by the way. I'm blowing your spot, Des.
Whoa.
So Des is a cool dude. He showed us pictures of all the stand-ins hanging out in his own after party, and his bar is wicked. Like,
really?
just
Awesome.
mad. It's just out of this world with colors and backlighting and all that stuff. So
It blew your mind.
Yeah, it kind of blew my mind. I got Notorious Negan on here too. He's from England.
Nice.
Badass, funny ass Instagram dude. And we also have Chris on the live stream. Bum, bum, bum. Chris from BMNY. He's about to cause some chaos soon. Blowing shit up. But yeah. Okay, so Carol, I have a very special question for you.
Oh boy. Okay.
The opening theme. I need to kind of reintroduce the question of the opening theme now that it's consistent, sort of.
I understand what they're getting at. I understand the idea of the theme every week. You're going to see little snippets that give you an idea of what's to come in the episode. I mean, I get it. For the second episode, I saw when I was looking at the theme, the little boxes in the tree and the walkers underneath it, kind of trying to get at it, which obviously we saw in the episode, which is fine. But it's just, I guess for me, you know how I feel. I love a theme song, and I feel like shows that have distinctive themes. So to me, it's
yeah, that seems pretty distinctive now.
I guess it is. It's distinctive in a non-distinctive way.
Well, the reason why I asked
unassuming.
The rereason why I asked the question was because when we broached the topic last season, you'd seem to have thought that maybe this theme was kind of like a passing glance because they kept changing it.
Because it kept changing it,
right.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons, I think they kept it the same. The third season, they sort of changed it because it wasn't as loud and blah.
Right.
And then obviously the 4th season with the kind of turning over of characters and stuff like that, and kind of kajiggering the cast and the theme and the setting. They changed it to kind of like a Southwestern theme, right? But now that we're still in the Southwest, Texas is still very much a part of the show.
It's just it's a different approach because it's not a theme that's very kind of strikes fear or anxiety or anything. It's actually very kind of like, I don't know, just kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's just not like when I hear the Walking Dead theme music, it's like,
it's emblematic. It's like
chilling.
Yeah, it's chilling. Okay, I'm like,
but it's distinctively The Walking Dead is kind of what you're getting at.
But I guess like it just fits with the theme, like this sort of anxiety. Oh my God, this is a horror show, and it just kind of works. Or even like Game of Thrones, there's a majestic nature to the theme of Game of Thrones. That's like, okay, this is the throat. Like it just kind of works with it. So with Fear, it's very, it's just very unassuming. And
it's also very short.
Very
only like
short.
A few seconds. So
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, whereas the Walking Dead theme is like a solid minute. I've timed it. But yeah, I mean, I think there's something to like keeping it. Well, the original Fear intro was like seconds.
Was very
it was
literally seconds. Like here, you have a solid 10 seconds, maybe 11 seconds. but like let me tell you what Fear's intro was for the first 2 seasons. That's it. I can see why they'd want to change that. As like Fear the Walking Dead it was. Like, I mean, you know, it can only last for so long. But I think there's something, so like I kind of actually would have agreed with you more last season, but now they're kind of, now that we're still in Texas in this season, and now we're actually starting to see that that Texas is almost kind of like a character of the show in a way. We're starting to see a lot more of the landscape, like the terrain kind of plays, the weather kind of plays a part in the show now. Like we're starting to kind of like, they're not taking that for granted, and to the point where actually some of the crew shirts have the state of Texas in there's like Fear Texas, The Walking Dead, you know, like the actual state logo, the picture of the state. So like you start to get the feeling that, okay, they're really investing in being here. And who knows if there's another season or whatnot, but which is kind of interesting because I remember, like, it was so funny. We got midway through the season, maybe not even, and they announced the next season, you know, like season 5. And I'm like, wow, I was just blown away. Like, they're so invested in this. And so I'm kind of interested to see if Texas still becomes a part of this show. And as much as people like want the two worlds to touch to finally, it's like the male and female character leads, you know, finally kissing instead of going, no, please, it cannot be. Like, I kind of like the idea. I like that it's different. I like that we're not sweating in Georgia watching flies hit our favorite characters. You know, Rick Grimes sweating and staring at you with like dead eyes. You know, that's Georgia in a nutshell. That's like what we experienced in Sonoy recently. It was madness. Like, the humidity was just out of control. And so I understand now. I understand fully. And Chris just made a bold statement on the Instagram chat. And I wanted to say hi to Stacey Odom on YouTube. But Chris just said FTWD > TWD.
Bold statement.
No.
Right?
What? I don't know if I would agree with that.
I don't even think he agrees with that.
I'm so
I think
happy.
he's trying to start some shit.
He said tide's turning. I feel like the only reason why people are hanging on is for Rick, for when Rick comes back in the movies and Michonne's departure. Honestly, what else are you watching for?
I don't know. I will listen. I am very happy with the fact that, like, with Angela King, the story has gotten significant. Like, I was very happy with last season. I was very happy with last season. And I really was not sure how I was going to feel after Rick's departure. I was like, how is this going to go? I'm not sure. But I still tuned in, and I still thought they were good quality episodes that I still felt like, and I wasn't really sure, like, you know, how is it going to work? How is the show going to be carried? Is Daryl going to be able to carry the show? Whatever. He actually speaks now. He has lines.
And I feel like a good number of characters are kind of keeping the show afloat. And and Jared just said hello, by the way. Hi, Jared, your husband.
Hi, Jared.
Yeah, you're Jared. You went to Jared. You just went to the cow.
That's funny.
You didn't get the milk for free. Stupid
So
show.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my thing. I'm happy with The Walking Dead. I mean, I think I'm not totally sold with Fear. I mean, like and I don't know if it's just because I'm not as invested in the characters as I am with Walking Dead. And maybe it's also because I know of like what happens in the comics. So it's like I'm watching The Walking Dead and I'm sort of like, okay, let's see, how this is going to go. I don't know. It may not be exactly how that goes, but maybe it'll go a different way. But with Fear, I don't know. I still look at it as just not quite on the same level. I just don't. I mean, it's okay, but I'm not looking forward to every Sunday like, okay, I'm going to watch Fear. It's like, okay, it's Fear. That's cool. But when Walking Dead is coming on in October, I'm like, oh God. Like I'm
afraid of it coming back. Like there are parts that I'm kind of very uneasy about when it comes back. Like I know for sure that Maggie's going to be like the character Maggie's coming back. And that's
her show was canceled, right?
Yeah, but I think she would have come back regardless. They would have shot around.
Sure.
Whiskey Cavalier would have shot around her Walking Dead schedule. That wasn't something I was worried about. What I am worried about is, Maggie coming back to all these people dead. All these people she cared about. She's going to be with
something she's not unfamiliar with.
No, exactly, but it's a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot.
And we don't have to get into it. But then there's she's gonna this is my theory. She's gonna be with Eduardo for sure. Right. And fans are not gonna like that. Why? Because they want her to be with Glenn. Why? Irrational. Just very irrational. They don't want her to be with anybody else. They want her to live in celibacy.
It would make total sense though. In the comics, she ends up getting with Dante.
Exactly.
So she does find other love in the comics.
It would make total sense.
I was an Alden booster,
La 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 la.
Well,
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could happen.
Maybe. But I was a big Alden booster. Now that the field has been cleared, I mean, maybe it could happen. I don't know.
But I would. But if
Alden,
I was always an Alden booster with Maggie.
I was too. I agree.
Isn't there an age difference there?
I see Eduardo with Maggie more than I would see Alden with Maggie.
Yeah, I thought
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what aren't the age differences the same though? Between Alden, Maggie, and
I thought there was more of an age difference between Eden and Alden than there is with Alden and Maggie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's true.
Yeah, especially now.
How old do we think Alden is?
He's almost 40, I would say.
What? I
mid-30s.
I was thinking like 23.
I was thinking 20s.
That facial hair is very concealing.
I thought 20s for sure.
Yeah, 20s.
Well, then how old was
Maggie is supposed to be only like 25 in the show.
When it started though, or when she
started, she was like 21, right? Or maybe a little younger than that.
In her 20s. I think 22. Actually, I think she says 22.
22, yes. Okay.
Right. Okay, so she's playing somebody who was younger than her current age, like 10 years younger than her current age.
Which happens all the time.
I think she's actually our age, Carol. Like 40, a little younger than 40.
Probably.
It's very interesting to me. Wow. All right, we're getting into it a little bit too much. But I think I've proven my case. But then there's also like what's going on with Carol and the Ezekiel thing and then Daryl. It's just a mess. And
I feel like they keep playing around with this Daryl and like Carol thing. And I just feel like it's like the carrot that they dangle. They just love dangling that thing. But the thing is, it's like, I don't care. Like, I just want like Carol to be the one to take out Alpha. I'm going on the record right now and saying that Carol's going to be the one to take out Alpha and Negan is going to save Daryl from Beta. And that's how I feel like this whole thing is going to like go down eventually.
It's the only way it can go down.
Yeah.
I agree.
But I think you see what I mean. Like we're going into something that is just, we have no idea. We just literally have no, between Fear the Walking Dead, between the movies, the spinoff, where's TWD and all this? Like there's a lot hanging in the air that is really uncomfortable. I'm not saying I'm not looking forward to it. I'm just not excited to get into it. I'll just say that.
I am.
I would let
all
it
these
unfold.
answers. I need them.
All this. Why are you not excited?
No, I'm not excited for the awkwardness, but I am. No, I'm not. I let it unfold. Like, and that it's a good thing to. Okay. It's a good place to be.
Okay.
Because, I'm not. I could chill out a little bit. I could look at Fear and be like, oh, this is kind of fun and exciting and action packed. I mean, going back to the season premiere, plane crash, it was entirely practical effects. Those explosions were real. The heat was real. The walkers were real. The props were almost real. You know what I mean? The styrofoam propeller that she was using was weighted, so there was some weight behind each of those things. So she could have hurt somebody really bad. Including herself. Alicia is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And Chris is currently fighting with somebody in the chat, and it's just calm down, buddy. just chill out. Just be nice. And just in case you're wondering, Clout Henry, Chris is just fucking with you. Just so you know. He's just messing with you right now. If you could see what I'm talking about, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I going back to Fear the Walking Dead, I think there's a lot more potential for excitement. Yeah, and I think that's kind of becoming the defining feature of, because Fear the Walking Dead has always been different from The Walking Dead, and maybe that's people don't like that. But I think there's what's great about Fear is it gets to do all the things that The Walking Dead has stopped doing. Like, okay, there's been so much funny. There have been so many funny lines in the first 2 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead than I think I've seen in 2 seasons of The Walking Dead. 7 and 8, not great. Season 9, we've had some good ones, but like,
Negan has many one-liners.
But only Negan. You know what I mean?
He has been carrying the weight since Abraham. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, I mean, Eugene every now and again, but like even then, it's kind of like under auspicious circumstances. So it's kind of like. Okay, shut up.
Jerry's funny.
True. Jerry is funny.
Is pretty
You're
funny.
right.
You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, few and far between though. Like when you see it, it's great, but 3 or 4 episodes later.
But what is the humor that you find in Fear, out of curiosity? Like what?
Okay. Was it the cat, the line with the skid mark in the 2nd episode?
Right.
Your cat has taste. My cat licks its own asshole. I'm like, that's hysterical. Like just things like that. I mean, I thought I actually had a note with just all the humorous lines, but whatever. I'm sure I'll get to it. But like even like interactions with Matt Frewer, like just that kind of awkward interaction with Logan. Like let's I kind of want to get the whole thing with Logan out of the way because there's so much more to unpack by the end of the season. Like even the plane, like the idea and the setting and geography of like the plane crash and how they start off the show is kind of a whole other thing I wanted to get into. But so let's jump there. Oh yeah, actually I even just wanted to mention something about Morgan recapping the first episode. Like the way that Morgan or that Lenny James recaps the beginning right before the plane crash, that whole last season going into this season, there is a sense of like legitimacy that like him doing it and the production value in them recapping the last season kind of lets you see the world of Fear through Morgan's eyes, and Morgan becomes kind of like us. But then he's kind of like the bridge between us and Fear the Walking Dead. It's like, hey guys, I wasn't sure about this group, but then they showed me this and that, and then I went on this journey, and it's not about us, and I learned to not, lose people, lose myself, and I walk through the door and blah, blah, blah. And that it's weird how that it legitimizes Fear the Walking Dead as as a part of the universe. It says, hey guys, listen up. This show is important. It's important to the growth of this Morgan character, if anything. But then also the recap also kind of sets the stage for how to look at this season to come. Like, we're on our path. We've opened the door. We're helping people. And then now this is what happens. The plane crash happens. So I just thought that like Fear needs more legitimacy between Morgan's recap, between the marketing materials and all that stuff. Like it's really, really important. Like, and I think that they're putting a lot of weight behind the series. And they're putting their cards on the table too. Like, I saw the intro to episode 2 was even kind of cool. Like, they, instead of doing like a previously on The Walking Dead, like they just did like a line with previously coming out and kind of let the panels kind of speak, for themselves. I thought that was pretty cool. The visuals on the show speak for themselves. They're all really good shots, practical effects, really cool props, makeup, VFX. I mean, it stands on its own, It's all action packed, Anywho. Okay, so let's talk about Matt Frewer, Logan. First impressions. What did you think, Rachel?
Love him
to death.
I love him. Absolutely love Logan. My favorite was the little nod to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids when he threw the baseball cap on. I just pretty much lost it right there. Tell me you caught that.
Yeah.
When he walks in and he puts the baseball cap on and he pulls it down. Straight out of the movie.
Oh my God.
Loved it. Yeah. And I like his general outlook too. Like, this is mine.
Pretty chill.
I don't want to fight you for it. I'm tired. Just go away. I feel like that's how I would be at that point. Like,
yeah, that's kind of something I want to talk about too. But
I liked it.
I'm curious about what you other gals think too. Like, Carol, what was your impression? Like, we had been really pumping out the idea that he was going to be on the show. But what did you think, Carol?
I mean, I'm not sure. It was fine, but I mean, I'm not necessarily sure what direction they're going with his character. Like, where exactly this is going. Is he supposed to be the new, like the new nemesis? Is he not a nemesis? That's what I'm curious about. Like, I don't know necessarily. I'm not sure yet necessarily what they're doing with that character. And I don't know. I don't know if he's at all connected with the whatever group, assuming it was the Commonwealth, that got Althea, or is that a separate group? And he's like just his own man who's just kind of like protective over his things and just trying to reclaim his things.
Is he the saviors or is he the vultures, right? Like, you're trying to place him on the spectrum of how to treat him.
I'm just not sure. Like, is he a pertinent character? Is he not a pertinent character? Is he going to be like a significant character? Is he just like an everyman sort of like, hey, you took my stuff, I want it back? Or is this going to be like, because I feel like there's different kinds of villains, like you have your villains that are like these sort of larger than life entities or anti-heroes or whatever. And then you have just sort of like, I'm just a mean person and, this is it. Like what I am hopeful is that he is not another Martha kind of situation.
Right.
Well, I think we can already tell that he's definitely not that.
Like, I just don't want it to be an anticlimactic sort of like, well, what is his purpose? Like, what I'm not sure yet where his character fits into everything yet. So
well, in terms of that though, like, I don't doubt that he's not a Martha, but there is a part of me that's thinking that like he's going to come in as something, and then I don't think he's going to be as big a deal as what's going to come, because looking at over the course of the last 2 episodes, it looks like there's an even bigger bad that they're facing right now in whatever region that they're in, that they're landlocked in, by the way, is kind of something I wanted to bring up. Well, Ashley, what was your impression of Matt Frewer, of Logan?
It was interesting to see how he didn't want a fight, that he sent them away to kind of take them in. I couldn't tell if it was more he's just tired or if he's being sneaky.
Right. And that's the key. That's a big thing too. I'm glad you picked up on that too.
Right.
Because you just saying sick of fighting.
Yeah, you don't know what it is. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if our characters make it back to the joint to see how he'll handle that situation. Right.
And it's kind of something I wanted to bring up, and that was that, over the course of the last 2 seasons, well, last season and this season, we've seen several bads, maybe not big bads, but you know, of the big bads. Okay, and that's actually kind of interesting. The big bad that we had last season was Martha, right?
Yes.
But Martha was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, and as Carol would say, stupid, but crazy. What I found more interesting are the bads that weren't quite bad. And
that's what makes a compelling character.
Right.
Compelling characters are characters that are like nuanced, that, you know, that they are not necessarily heroes. They're not necessarily villains. They make a compelling case for what they're doing. And that's what makes them interesting, because whenever you have any character that's just one dimensional, and it doesn't make for a strong personality, and it's hard to really kind of become, I don't know, just like attracted to this character and want to see more, because you feel like you're seeing everything already. If it's just sort of like with Martha, there was no real development, and it was so one-dimensional that it made it hard to really kind of buy into it. Like, it just seemed like evil for the sake of being evil.
Right. So the problem isn't really, I think you can have like a crazy character that's compelling though. Martha wasn't that, because I mean we had the governor. But
right, exactly. Like, you can have crazy, but crazy for why? Explain to me why crazy. And if it's compelling enough, then it's like, all right, fine, I get it.
Yeah, no, but this one was irrationally crazy. But that's not even my point. What I found more compelling was were the regular bads, like where you weren't really actually even sure. And I'm not talking like we really aren't sure Negan is bad. No, Negan was bad. Right. You know, the governor was bad. We were in the Walking Dead universe. Your bads were bad. You knew they were bad. Yeah, you could make it. You could do backflips and understand their backstory to be like, oh, maybe in another light they're not bad. No, but in the Fear the Walking Dead universe, at least the last 2 seasons, and maybe even other seasons, by the way, you could make the excuse that they definitely, like, okay, these guys aren't bad. Like, there's a huge following still that is sad that Troy Otto isn't on the show anymore, even though he was clearly crazy. Right. But like the fact that he was able to be manipulated the way he was by Madison and things like that made him seem completely like, oh wait, Madison can tame this crazy. How weird in a bad, like a big bad or a bad, right? Troy Otto also like obviously awful, but like in some in a different, like in like another shade. Like you could see him as a complicated character, very complicated, and not like Negan. Negan obviously was bad. Like you could do backflips to say otherwise. Now, when I want to talk about what this one is, that like Matt Frewer, the Logan character, he's like there's a common thread that's going through the Vultures, through Logan, and through even like the Leland and the Pilferers kind of tiny arc in the first 2 episodes or something. The theme is these people act as though they're exhausted, and I think it's the Texas region that's exhausting them. We commented it on from the beginning of last season, is that whatever region that they're in, resources are very low thanks to the Vultures. Thank you. But also like maybe just the fact of where they're at. It seems just like being where they are at the time. It's just pounding them. It's exhausting. There's nobody for miles, etc., etc. And so I love that this is a recurring theme. Your bads are all just tired of fighting. Your bads are all just kind of exhausted. You're like, if I can get it off you, fine. If not, I'll just starve you out. If not, I'll just move on. You know? Right. I'll wait till you die and then we'll take over. Same thing with Logan. Logan's kind of like, well, we didn't want to fight with you, so we misdirected you. You know, you're obviously a bunch of poor saps that don't understand this region or not willing to give in to this region of Texas overall. And so we're just going to have you go here while we go in there, and then I got my property again. And again, that's like another theme. Like you said, it's their property. It's like, well, I mean, technically it's ours. You know, I'm just getting back what's mine. So it adds like another layer to kind of like, well, I'm just getting back. And so it makes you start to think and I'll ask this question. Do you think Logan is kind of like a bad guy necessarily?
He has potential
to be a bad guy.
I don't think he is right now. Yeah. Not yet, but
not yet.
He could be.
Right.
I guess we can't account for what could be though, because you never know.
Right.
You never know.
Right. I mean, anybody could be a bad guy. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
and your bad guys can turn into good guys, kind of like Jace.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. as of right now, I don't think he's a bad guy. He didn't outright come in and kill everybody to take what was his. He was like, oh, look over there.
I think he's willing to defend. Yeah, I think he's willing to defend his his territory technically.
Oh yeah.
But where has he been?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and we allude to that in season 4. It seems as though there was a schism in the trucker community between, and I think that's kind of what ended Clayton. I think there was something going on, and I don't think it was just Martha. I don't think Martha's the one that ended Clayton, by the way. I think Martha wanted to be the one to end Clayton.
Right.
But I think something happened maybe with Logan, or something happened, like a difference of opinion between the truckers, or maybe the schism occurred because of Martha. You know, maybe because people were going after, you know, because Martha was going after all the truckers. Maybe Logan said, like, dude, we have to take care of our own because we're dying off left and right. And maybe they decided to split from Clayton. Maybe there were no, I mean, it's obvious there were no more truckers left. So they all went with Logan, it looks like. I mean, something happened. Otherwise, it'd be more truckers on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? So who knows? I think bringing back purpose to Martha's craziness might actually flesh her out a little bit more. Like it gives us more of an excuse to kind of feature her, you know, as something we don't mysteriously ignore. You know, boo, Martha didn't exist.
I want to pretend that.
Yeah, I know. So, but if we give her like a raison d'etre, as they say, like a reason for being, then okay, it's not so bad, because it's like basically Logan's origin story. You know, like this is why he came about. It's like, well, bitch is killing all our people. I'm gonna take all our people and go away. But anyway, so I'm not convinced. I'm starting to think that the big bad is obviously not Logan, and it is these people who are hanging heads from trees and entrails across telephone poles and stuff like that. And by the way, in the second episode, when Danay gets out of whatever the truck stop and she sees the antenna had fallen, obviously the wind didn't blow it down.
Right.
I don't think. What do you guys think?
I don't think so. I was confused when she said that. I was like,
too.
the wind? I'm like, it's not.
It's not even blowing.
Right.
Yeah. And where were all the walkers? Like, you know, I don't know. It always seems so suspicious to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think walkers did that.
Yeah, I don't think
or the
so
wind,
either.
I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did some handiwork too. Like the fact that they were able to get all the way up to the billboard sign. What the heck does that mean, by the way, that they could do that?
Yeah.
What's the shoes over the phone lines? Like, does that mean something? Like,
it usually means that somebody like as like a memorial to somebody. So,
very common theme in Brooklyn, by the way.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I thought it was because of bullies.
Yeah, that too.
It could be. But in New York, it's a memorial.
Yeah.
Okay.
and I thought it always meant that they killed the person and they put their shoes over the antenna.
No. It's either a good
It
thing or
can
like a
be.
playful thing.
Okay.
I mean, really, I knew kids who really literally, when their shoes wore out, they would just do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just
There's
on their
no
block.
parallel there.
Yeah, just on their block.
All the reasons. There's all the reasons.
There's a plethora of reasons why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're no good for me anymore. I'll just throw them out. No, well, there you go. Let me just do this again. Just Molly and me, and baby makes 3. No more will we do this. Boo heaven. Who's tired? Please donate $1 for Dave to restart the show.
Is it by Chris?
It's like plugging 25 minutes to get the rest of the call. Is Ashley out? I don't even know. Let us see.
Okay. Sorry, just realized my laptop wasn't plugged in and it was going to die on me.
It's the worst.
There we go. Where's Ashley?
Oh, there she is. I didn't hear the sign. I heard the sign. Everybody check in. Ashley? Oh, well, you have to say something.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, let's start recording. Yeah, let's not. I'm gonna not let that happen again. Jared says she's coming. Okay, I missed that.
What?
No, because Jared's on the stream. He's like, everyone's like, "Where is Ashley? Where is she?"
Right here.
Right here. Okay. Let me just.
Thanks for checking on me.
Of course, we wouldn't have. I wasn't gonna start recording without you. But yeah, okay.
Rach, how's your tattoo?
Oh, good. It's all healed
Oh
up.
yeah, everybody show everybody your tattoo. There is a picture, a good close up picture of it on Instagram. But yeah, you got that at
Yes. I saw
Walker.
her getting it, by the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
in person, yeah. Walker Stalker, Chicago, right?
Chicago.
Was it? Is FanFest Chicago actually, right? Technically,
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, half and half.
it's.
But I think it's eventually switching over.
I mean, are they going to call Atlanta Walker Stalker, or are they calling it FanFest? That's another good question, by the way. I know we're kind of taking a break, but what do you guys think? I don't.
I
Think
heard they were merging all of it over to FanFest eventually.
That's what I thought too.
It'll be a process, but I think eventually there will be no more Walker Stalker, only FanFest.
Well, they were doing that from even. I don't think they announced that, but all the FanFest people were doing the video for Walker Stalker. So when I checked with the media team, like, oh, okay, this is like a FanFest event. I mean, eventually it's going to be FanFest Chicago or FanFest Atlanta. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Instagram stream's coming back. Let's let it come back again. There we go. Right on time. Okay. And we're back. Okay. Awesome. Perfect timing. Okay. Okay, so last thing, I think, in terms of like the group back in the denim factory, the mill as they call it, right? What did you guys think of Sarah kind of speaking to Jim? Like the fact that he's like gone but not forgotten. Like he's still kind of a character on the show.
Yeah, about the beer.
Yeah. Well, she's like addressing him, like telling him it was like a shit pie a la mode.
Do you think she feels guilty about how she treated him?
Oh, for sure.
I was gonna say they didn't really like each other when he was alive,
Right.
did they?
I think they left on really good terms, though.
They
by the end
left
of
on
it.
good terms. I mean, he told her the beer recipe.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
like mutual respect, I think.
Right.
But I think the fact that she's still kind of addressing him, you know, obviously they're all drinking beer, too.
Well,
like,
you even see Strand drinking a beer.
they're right before he meets up with
before
Daniel,
Yeah, right before he meets up with Daniel.
which is awesome, by
Right.
the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I mean, I just like the idea that he's just become this, like, just this weird, larger than life. Aaron, was it?
Right.
Was his name Aaron? I forget his full name. The actor's name, Stanford, right?
Okay.
Yeah, like he's just like he's still kind of a part of the show still.
Mhm.
Like he's still
She
kind
was
of
such a small character, and then
I know.
he's like was he slowly becoming like the Herschel of The Walking Dead,
right.
of Fear the Walking Dead. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, whenever we think of like what's our moral compass, then look at the poster of Jimbo and Augie's ale. there's annoying Jimbo right
Look
there.
at the beer.
Yeah. Well, at least he gave us his beer recipe.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. Okay. So let's talk about Oh, I don't know. Who cares? I like the fact that though when they get to the truck stop, like John actually finds one of the movies that was on his list that you see in the beginning of right when Logan comes in. You see the movie list, and on the top it says something like please return when done and sign out or something like that. J&J. Like I'm gonna basically write up a blog post on like the visuals that I saw in the episode and just whatever, if somebody can decipher them too, like in terms of geo coordinates and stuff. But like one of those things is the movie list, and he finds one of the movies in the truck stop, and it happens to be on the list too to bring back. But I just find it kind of interesting that, again, like we talked about this in season 9 when Carol's solution for the Highwaymen is to like watch movies on the movie night thing. It kind of just brings everybody together. Right. I just like it, but you do realize that Fear the Walking Dead did it first, you know, with John and June and Laura,
right?
You know, and so now they're bringing them back again. So like, I kind of just like the idea that this is kind of like a recurring theme now between 2 seasons. Hey Clementine, by the way, on YouTube. What's up, dog? Actually, I have to get back on the Facebook thing. But Luciana, what do you think of Luciana's acting in the last 2 episodes? By the way, because I think she's kind of pulling out all the stops.
I was going to say the drama is on another level, and it's a little laying it on a little thick for me personally.
How do you feel? What does it make you feel? I'm gonna tell Danay herself what you say right now.
Oh my god! No, it's nothing personal. It's just very this is very heavy. This is very, very heavy, and just I don't know what to make of it. Like, I mean, because I don't feel like it has to be. It just seems like a whole lot of nothing. I mean, like just a whole lot of like drama, but I don't necessarily understand for what. Like, I could watch like John Dory and like June interactions all day long. And like, no, because there's something like so understated but like compelling about like their dialogues, you know, and it's just I like that. I like that kind of playing off of each other, and I can appreciate it, and I like to see it. It's like if it's an episode where I know I'm going to see John Dory and I'm going to see June, I'm in, you know, I want to see, you know, I enjoy it. But with Luciana, I feel like I don't know if it's just trying to kind of be relevant, but it just feels very heavy-handed to me.
Right.
And I'm just not convinced as to why. Like I watch the scenes and I'm like, okay.
Like her character's a little too out there. Like there's no equalization, it sounds like.
Right. And I almost kind of like forgot where she came from for a minute.
Yeah.
Like when I was watching her, I'm like, how did we get to know her?
Right. It's one of those things where
she was a soldier originally.
Right. She was a soldier originally. Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
and I remembered that, but it was like at first it's like, why, where, when?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's been like a kind of like a, I don't know, like an oversight when it came to the writing over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Is that they made her a little bit too vulnerable over the last 2 seasons, to the point where like you don't remember how she was before they brought her back onto the show, right?
Right.
And I think that was to the I mean, for the hardcore fans, we remember, right? You know what I mean? Like we remember. Well, who's we? Actually, who's been watching since the beginning? It's the question.
I mean, I've been watching.
I have been. Yeah.
But I truly, for a second, I forgot. I just.
Yeah.
It slipped my mind. Like I'm like, wait, because I know she disappeared for a little bit and then she came back, and
yeah.
When I feel
I've only ever watched the episodes once through, so first time.
Me too.
Up there.
Me too.
Yeah.
I have to go back and rewatch it to catch all the details of everything.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that again once at one point. But and I think you're right. Like if you had been watching the last 2 seasons and just don't remember what happened the first 3, it's kind of like, what was she like again?
How did we get here?
She wanted to run away with Nick because she just didn't want to be around her mom and stuff like that. And like the Troy Otto is racist. We can do this on our own.
Right. Because then they went to the gates and she was sick or dehydrated or something. Right. And he just wanted to kill her.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
But like the point of the matter is that like, okay, I think they're taking for granted what we forgot. Like, and that's the thing. Because the scenes that they're showing her in, they've been showing her in again and again, is that like, look, you are weak. What do you do now? You are weak. What do you do now? But yeah, but we forgot when you were strong.
Right.
You know what I mean? We kind of forgot when you were like capable and resistant and like wanting to run away. But I mean, and that's something they kind of have to revisit. They have to kind of like, well, what are you making up for?
Right.
Like, you keep saying you need to make up for things. Like, well, remind us. What was it again?
Right. Yeah.
Give us a hint. I mean, the show does a really good job or tries to really do a good job for everybody else but her. And I think that's been kind of like their weakness.
Yeah, like she's kind of like the what do you call it? The weakest link, I would say.
Well, she appears to be.
She appears to be. At least the way
right.
The way that they're portraying her is not in a light that's like their strongest player, you know?
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, all right.
Right. And if not for like us going, hey, wait a minute, she's not supposed to be this weak. She's been vulnerable these past 2 seasons. What's the deal? Like, you got to kind of refresh our memories. We're Americans after all. But
it's gonna take a really long time for that shoulder to heal too. Like, I don't know when we're gonna see her. Yeah. When is she gonna be back at her top game? It's gonna be a long time.
And there's supposed to be
she couldn't feel her fingers.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a point to all that too. Like, the whole point is to kind of say, oh, you can't be who you were before. Now what?
Right.
And now, but like, we're so confused about what she was before that, okay, how are we supposed to care? All this is saying to me is that she's weak. And that's a problem. It's something I kind of wanted to, that's why I brought it up. Look, there's no doubt. I think we can all agree. Her acting, when they pulled the thing, I was like, wow, she's on another level. Like, that was an awesome moment. Yeah. And even like walking back to the truck stop after she was walking away for the walkers, you know, like that was pretty intense.
Yeah, but that did bother me because I was like, what in the world are you doing outside?
Oh, she's fucking drugged up. That's why she's out there.
Oh,
yeah.
That drove me crazy. I'm like, why is she outside? But you're right.
Yeah, like impulse control, by the way. Yeah, I believe that. I was let that go.
Okay.
And I just love and by the way, she's trying to shoot with her left hand.
Mm-hmm.
And with every shot that they're showing, they're trying to show her as being completely hamstrung, you know, like completely.
Right.
But again, if you don't bring up what it was she was before, like the kind of person she was before, how do you expect people to care or understand, especially people who walked on like Johnny Come Lately with just season 4 or maybe even just season 5, you know, if we didn't know any better, she would be the weakest link and you know, she would have been gone from fear.
I really thought she was going to be gone after the first episode.
Oh God!
I mean, after the first episode of season 5, not like the very first episode ever.
Yeah, I did too. I was like, she might not be long for this.
Yeah, but but I know better. That's the fact of the matter is, I think her being injured and hamstrung and all these things. It's the same as Morgan. No stick.
Right.
Episode 2. That stick is gone, guys. You want to riot?
That was heartbreaking.
Go right ahead and riot, but that's gone now.
Really? Totally.
No, I mean,
gone, baby.
I get it. It makes sense, but it was still hard to watch.
There's a theme
I think he'll
here.
make another one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, I think I'm here to see what's gonna, because that's the thing. What do you do when your right shoulder is completely out of commission? You're no longer a soldier. Now you have to be something else. Morgan, you have no stick. Now what are you going to be? This whole, like, the theme is all like, this was your mission. You're going to keep trying at this. You want to be crazy. You're going to keep doing things the way you did before. Have at it. That's going to be your demise. You got to try something different now.
Yeah.
Like in Alicia.
Morgan said it was going to be hard.
Exactly. Well, I guess
this is hard.
We did not take anything into account. I mean, everybody, like, you could see it with John. June, not yet. I don't see what's up with her yet. But John is definitely, we're starting to get the same vibes that he got last season with Strand, when he was stranded on
Yeah.
that little island with the
Alligator.
yeah, which is kind of cool actually. I mean, no
That
offense.
was cool.
Some people might have thought it was a little too
I love
campy,
that.
but
Well, it was a little cheesy.
yeah. But I think that's the thing. You can't get away with this stuff in TWD. You can in Fear. Like there's a lot more plausible deniability. People would be like, there was no alligator in the comic. Okay, so you could go fuck you, Gimple.
Take offense.
And that's that's not you.
I know it's not me. I'm just saying.
We've been through this.
No.
We made fun of them together, Carol. My side.
I know.
I love when they change stuff up. I don't,
No,
you
same
think
here.
and then they totally switch it up. And
I can appreciate it. Like, I mean, I don't think that some things just don't translate. Some things just don't translate from
absolutely.
like the written word or the drawing to like the screen, and you have to change
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they change whole things.
It can happen.
yeah,
You know,
then, yeah,
Yeah. But
Carl.
shake up the whole freaking thing.
Yeah.
Carol still here. Sophia
Yes.
gone.
Right.
But I do want to kind of get back to John because I do. There's something going on there, and even in the second episode, you kind of see it again with
Right.
when they're talking about the kids and whether or not they'll be able to get them on their side,
Mhm.
and you see it in his face. There's something in his face being like, "Okay, I'll believe you because you're getting me there, like in my head." But like if you weren't here, I would say I've given up hope on them. I've given on hope maybe on helping anybody. Like he's on the line. He's not doing too well. And I think that's like, and again, it's like there's Luciana, there's Alicia, there's Morgan now without his stick. These characters are being pushed
Right.
to the line. And which is again, if we go back to Dwight, I mean, he's gonna be in the same spot. You know what I mean? He's gonna be in the same spot as our other characters. So he's perfectly in line for them moving forward with him. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think, how does that dynamic change now? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And now we've got Daniel possibly flying in to save them, maybe in the next episode. I mean,
Yeah.
just to kind of bring it there for a second, like what?
Madison flies in.
We never saw a body.
I heard
Never
you're all on the
saw-
radio.
Saw a body.
You guys talk real loud.
Man, yeah.
Hers is the only death I will accept without seeing a body.
Really?
No, I can't accept
Please.
it.
I'll force myself to accept it.
Please.
Yeah. I love how, by the way, Nisa's just like jumping from different chats. It's like I'm gonna go to YouTube and see who's on there. It's like, hey guys, what's up, Danielle? What? That's cool. She's the coolest. Anyway, I just had to say that out loud. Yeah, but Madison.
I love Nisa.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm with you, Rachel. Actually, like, I mean, of course, unless there's a body, of course, right? But at the same time, there's value in accepting the fact that she's gone because now you can really look. If she wasn't gone, we wouldn't be as distraught as we are at Alicia's state. Like the fact that she's putting, like the second episode said it more than the first, even though the first kind of said enough, because she's obviously capable. You know, double kill, assisted kill, like boom, boom, boom. She literally is like clear Morgan. Like,
I know.
she's
and
almost
I think
there.
Notices that.
Yeah, yeah. It's intense.
Why does she feel so much responsibility for everyone's safety? Why is that her job? Why they're all capable of fighting and taking care of themselves? Why is it on her?
Oh, it's irony.
Or maybe just taking after him.
That's.
I mean,
the
is it
thing.
just her
Right.
in her head?
That's the irony. Because if you remember season 3, and even season 4, she spent a lot of time fighting with Madison. Like, especially near the end of season 3.
Yeah.
She spent a lot of time telling Madison, you got to clue us in. You can't be running some shit behind the scenes with Troy Otto and even Big Otto. Like, what was his name again? Not Troy, but the dad.
Dad.
I forget the older Otto. who was on Deadwood, which I'm watching now.
The dude. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can't be you got to clue us in. You got to tell us the truth. And she finally tells the backstory of how their father died, blah, blah, blah. But, and then you see a little bit of that in season 4 as well. And she is bringing Alicia in, and she does become stronger as a result of being clued in. But then, like, you know, I think seeing how hard Madison worked to kind of get the stadium up and running, to do the things that she did all throughout the zombie apocalypse, like I think she's in a position where she can finally understand how hard it was for Madison to not clue her in and to kind of take care of everybody. It's exactly like you guys are saying, dude, all these guys are capable. Why aren't you seeing it?
Jeremiah.
Yeah. Jeremiah Otto. Thank you.
It just came.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, and it puts him in an interesting place, you know? Like that's, and I think that's the
extra hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that puts Alicia in a unique place, different from Morgan.
Right.
Is that Alicia, you've been there before. You know what this is about. You know? So yeah, she's on the line. Oh man, losing Nick and Alicia. Nick and Madison. And that kind of brings me back to Strand though. Because that whole interaction with him and Daniel, how many of you were shitting bricks, but also laughing at the same time?
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
all of that.
Who would have thought? Like, okay, think from before, like you knew he was going to be on the show. How did you think their interaction would go the way it did on the show? I did not. I thought it was going to be way worse.
I did too. I didn't think he would be so civil with him. I did not think he would let him into that compound and walk him around. And
thought he'd kick his ass for sure.
Right.
Well, what did you think, Carol?
Not kill him, but just
yeah. Well, I don't know. No, of course not kill him. It's not his contract. What would you think, Carol? Like, or do you have like a frame of reference?
I mean, it was cool to see. I always like seeing older characters like kind of be brought back. That's always kind of like a nice little enjoyment.
Like Madison? No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
I'm not holding my breath on that one. I even though there's no body, I'm letting that ship sail.
Remember when people were saying Daniel Sharman, Troy Otto was going to be back?
Yeah, that was odd.
That was weird.
That was real weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I assumed it was like, so the question really is like, why is Daniel Salazar so, I'm not going to say open-minded, but like he's so, do you think that it's possible that he is entertaining the fact that people can change? Essentially, I mean, who does he live with? Anybody in that place? So he says he inherited
I don't see anybody.
Yeah, he said he inherited it. I mean, meaning
Mm-hmm.
whoever's it is.
It's not mine.
Yeah. Do you think it was Madison's?
Yes.
That'd be interesting. Lay that groundwork.
But he did ask if she was alive, so.
Yeah, but maybe that's what he was told to say.
Maybe. It's a far stretch, but maybe.
I was wondering how long I could keep that up. But it is odd. Like if the last interaction that Daniel had was Strand shooting him in the face, why would he keep him alive in that instance?
Right.
I'm not saying I call bullshit. I'm not saying that at all. But I think it's just a very interesting thing about Daniel. This guy's like a murder from down under. Like Like what keeps him ticking? How is he? He's like Morgan. How is he still alive? Like I don't die.
Can't die. He doesn't die.
Yep. He doesn't die.
And
I tried. He's been burned alive. That didn't kill him.
And he's funny as fuck still too. He licks his own asshole. Like, okay. Oh well. Okay. Well, I have to make one more remark because this is just me. I'm not a huge pet person, but man, the internet. They're just a little like more cat, please. I'm like, okay, I get it, but like, can we have more substance? Like, no, we want more cats. Like,
I was intrigued by that. I'm not gonna lie.
On the internet or is
No,
the show?
I
On the
was-
show,
I was-
I'm fine, but I'm like,
I was watching the show and I was like, oh, that's nice. And I started thinking to myself, wow, I wonder how well the cats are doing in general during the apocalypse. Like, I just feel like my mind just kind of went off on a tangent thinking about cats and how they would cope.
They could definitely outrun them.
Right.
yeah.
So that was that's in your response to the cats. Yeah.
Well, it kind of brings you back to the deer in the opening shot too. Like, in a way, I was almost surprised that like deer can exist or like game animals and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, how do animals fare in the apocalypse? We don't see many of them. We saw those pack of dogs
Right.
Yeah.
following Negan.
Very
Kind
scattered.
of like domestic pets. Is that what?
Maybe ex domestic pets.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but like domesticated animals, do they remain domesticated?
Or do they just become
doubtful.
feral?
Well, it's
Doubtful.
not only feral, but like their patterns change too. We've seen that in the beginning of The Walking Dead and also in Fear the Walking Dead, how the birds kind of change their migration patterns. What typically in groups are now separate, like the grackle. There are things that happen on the show that indicate that, like, okay, humans are an interesting part of the animal world. Like, when that shit goes down, things start to shake up. So I mean, it's interesting. Yeah. But the fact that you can still have a domesticated cat in this apocalypse isn't, I mean, I guess it's a little interesting, but like when people on Twitter are saying like, I'm all about this, more skid mark. And I just love the fact that they say skid mark like all the time.
Yeah.
Please, I want more skid mark. I'm like, do you?
But anytime that we see that we can see like a pet during the apocalypse, I feel like everybody loves it. Like, I mean, it's like Daryl and dog, you know.
Yeah.
People are like, no, something can't happen to dog.
Yeah.
Right.
Nope.
That would be the only reason I don't want to see animals on the show, is because there's a
The
potential.
attachment, right?
Yeah, there's a potential for them to get eaten. I would rather see a person get eaten
Yes.
than an animal.
Look at
Absolutely.
Shiva.
And that drives me up the
Oh,
wall,
that was
by the way.
heartbreaking.
That makes me crazy.
Shiva's death was heartbreaking.
That
I mean, like, here's the thing. My thing is all deaths are heartbreaking, but I'm partial to people.
You're partial to people.
I'm partial to people. I'm on team people. Okay, people.
I just have a like, to me, it's like I'm triggered by the defenseless, and to me, like, animals and like kids are the defenseless. Like,
Fair enough. Yeah.
so that is what triggers me. Like, the same reason why, and like when the whisperers were like at the gates and that female whisperer put the baby like on the ground, I was like, okay, this is going to, please do not go there.
Yeah.
And I was like, please, let's not go there, you know, like, and in my logical mind, I knew like they probably, the baby will be saved. But in my mind, I was like, but also there was that little part of me that was like, oh, please, dear God, let's not go there, you know, because that's the thing. It's like, when it comes to that kind of stuff, or like, you know, animals, what's the name of the horse? Was it Buttons? The horse?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that was sad.
That Aaron and
Yeah.
Daryl were chasing.
Yeah. That kind of stuff, I'm like, it just hurts my heart. But, you know, like a human being, it's like, well, you know.
we got too many of those.
Yeah.
It's like, no, but I mean, it's like,
No, tell me more, because I call
can
bullshit.
defend yourself.
I'm on team people.
no, it's always a tragedy.
No, I know. I see what you mean. I find that like that attitude, and this is why it's so strange to kind of, I find this conversation fascinating, but like I think part of it is like this weird holdover, because we do see that humans like are capable of like the most cruelty or whatever.
Right.
And on the other hand, there is something to be said about the impression that, like, let's say the concept of original sin kind of has on people's minds. Like, okay, humans were born into this world. The further along we're in, the less we give a shit. There was like that Louis C.K. bit of like, like, oh, when you turn 30, it's like, oh, he's 30. Oh, it's cool. When you turn 40, everybody just, oh, 40, yeah, it's a new 30. When you turn 50, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. The older you, like, until you turn like 90, and then you're like, wow, you made it this far? Wow, I thought you were dead. Like that. You know what I mean? Like that, just to check on you.
Yeah.
Wow, good 100. Whoa. Who wants to break the Guinness Book of World Records? You do. So, but then like, yeah, so in the Walking Dead universe, it's like, it's people, they cause the most problems. They are the Walking Dead, blah, blah, blah. So I can see why people would be more sympathetic to animals. They didn't do nothing wrong.
It's not their fault.
It's people that made the virus.
Yeah.
Animals are just surviving.
They're just surviving as they typically do.
The chaos that's going on in the human world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I'm giving you the points on that one. I'm still on team people. Sorry. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm in this world. If I was in the zombie apocalypse, I'd probably be even more team people. I'd be like, okay, look, hey,
I'm going to eat you.
Exactly. Skid mark, you're now my food. Oh, that sounds terrible. Eat skid mark.
I mean, I came down to that. I mean, I'd have to.
That's different.
But it's just the name, skid mark. I'm eating skid mark.
I wouldn't call it that. I'd call him dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I would actually give it a name. I would honor it. See, that's the thing. Like, I would honor it with its name. Everybody enjoy skid
Say
mark.
thank you.
What was that goat's name? Tabitha?
Tabitha.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Tabitha.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, you guys.
But there is an honor, and like there are people that believe, like, you know, when they have to like kill their prey for survival purposes for eating,
you
they're
honor it.
honoring. Yeah, they're properly honoring, like, you know, their prey, because this prey is providing them nourishment that they need. I mean, at least that's what they always say.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
By the way, I wasn't even going to bring this up, but I'm glad I did now.
That's what they always say that on Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
You ever see that show on Discovery?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they always say
I've
that.
only watched 2, but it's
I've seen,
interesting,
like,
but it's also
hundreds.
brutal. It's like season 7 and 8 of The Walking Dead.
It is brutal. I've seen hundreds of episodes.
It's like torture porn. Oh wow.
Like hundreds of episodes. Like, I'm already like, okay, this is good to know. These are the things that you should need.
Eddie, we need to go back to Target. Some shit that we need and we need to talk about.
No, you know what always gets people to tap out?
What's that? What is that?
The insects, bug bites.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say exposure, but yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that is the big killer.
Was it not?
I'd be out of there as soon as I saw a bug. Out.
Was it not in later seasons that like people wised up to that? By the way, like people started like that one item that they get is like.
Some people are smart about it, and they basically would bring like netting, because you could use it to like get prey, like fish, you know, from lakes and stuff, but also use it as a shield. You know, when you sleep.
Wow.
Smart.
We're learning.
These are all things that I keep in my bank with my.
I bet you, by the way, you and Chris could probably have a whole episode on like zombie prep, by the way, because I know that. No, I'm serious. Like BMNY started on like.
Really?
On zombie apocalypse, ZPOC readiness.
Way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's hysterical. Yeah. Because I mean, you guys all know that I have my go bag. Like, in the closet.
Like Nisa right now is telling me all the stuff that she has ready, and for her pets, to keep her pets safe, by the way.
Yeah. I've I remember like Eddie and like my mom looked at me like I was crazy one day. I came out of like the bedroom and I was like, look, if anything ever happens, you go into the closet and you take that bag. They just like look, they were like watching TV on the couch. They're like, okay. I was like, I'm just telling you in case.
Yeah, Jared, I know you're listening on Instagram, so you take some notes right now.
Right.
You and Ashley will compare. Are you doing enough, buddy?
Right? Do you have your go bag?
Yeah. Wait, what?
I also live in Florida with hurricanes, though.
And mosquitoes. And swamp country. And pythons and alligators.
And
your python population is increasing, by the way. And pythons eat alligators.
They do?
They are there. Don't look on the internet.
No, I'm not going to look it up.
Don't Google it.
I don't want to see any of that. No, I don't want to see any of that. It's enough about that alligator. Like, well, you saw the thing I posted, the alligator that broke into that person's house and got into their wine. Not cool.
No, not cool, bro. Yo, bro, get out, bro. You're in the wrong house.
Oh my God.
By the way, Jared says everyone for themselves.
Yeah. He would.
That you guys will last forever. You guys, She went to
me
Jared. She
with the
pulled the wrong
children.
move. All right, anyway. Okay, let's talk about the kids. Now that we've talked about animals, let's talk about the thing we hate the most, is kids in the apocalypse. What I need to know what you think in general. Like,
I was so thrown in there. I hope they bring them back for a purpose.
Yeah, I agree.
although I'm kind of marveling at the idea of the idea of them that they bring up in the second episode. Like, they're not in the second episode at all, and yet they're such a topic of conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? But what do you think has happened to them? Like, because in the second episode, there are indications that they came from a place that was hard fought. And not only that, people had died there.
Right.
Obviously from radiation exposure because of the burnt bodies. And we find out because of Grace, who we haven't talked about yet, but we know. We've all watched the episode. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think happened? And they said
interesting this whole backdrop of in terms of this kind of like reactor and radiation and everything. It's very interesting to me. I'm not sure, necessarily like if that plays a role in it or what, or it's an interesting idea. I'm not sure where they're going with it though. Yeah. But it's interesting. It's very Chernobyl.
Yeah. Well, before it was Chernobyl, by the way, it wasn't even in production yet.
Was it not?
No. Fear was in production before Chernobyl was it must have been an idea, but it wasn't in production yet. So interesting, huh?
Interesting.
It was purely incidental. Actually, somebody asked that at the Q&A for the premiere at the IFC Center that I went to. And they were like, yeah, no, that was a thing that was going to be in the production.
So it was purely coincidence.
Okay.
Yep. And they get to kind of play that out. But obviously, so do you think that maybe part of that is the big bad? Like, do you think the big bad? I think
so. I think that there is a connection. That's my feeling on it, but I don't know what that big bad is. I don't know if the big bad is separate from this whole radiation thing. If the radiation is just an environmental issue that they have to deal with and contend with, like the way you're talking about, like, oh, Texas is this environment that they're dealing with, and it's like they happen to have come across an area where, unfortunately, you had this kind of reactor situation that happened, and it is a radioactive zone. So you have to contend with that. But that is a separate issue from this other entity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, could it not be possible that maybe the big bad of this season, and I think, are we all deciding all the way, by the way, that Logan is not going to be the big bad necessarily?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay. So good. We're on the same page then. But so that aside, I feel like I need to jump right into this theory that I have, because I think the big bad has something to do with Sherry.
Okay.
It's based on something. It's based on something that you said about her character in The Walking Dead, which is obviously not in the Walking Dead comic book, which is obviously not coming to fruition. In my mind, I just don't feel like the stories diverge so far.
Right.
But you mentioned her as being kind of like almost like Negan-esque, right?
Yes,
she's a leader.
She's a leader.
Okay,
right. So I'm thinking, so that kind of stuck in my head, and what I was thinking was like, if she is part of what this big bad group is, like maybe she was even a part of the reactor team, and maybe half of the reactor team split away from Grace, because she did say something about like the problem was me, like I didn't realize that cities were falling, and maybe some of her team did.
Right.
And that's why it fell. And maybe those people kind of went on and became, and like part of me thinks that these people are going to be kind of radioactive as well. Like whatever's going on, it's gotten to their heads a little bit, because that's a lot. That was a lot of guts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
You think they're just living with the radiation? I mean, it would be slowly killing them, right?
Right.
Probably. Yeah. And then you have a character like Grace who, you have a character like Grace, and you have these people who are probably on the same playing field, like on the same mortality rate. And yet Grace is choosing to kind of plug up the hole and deal with the world so the world can actually heal. Like, okay, with these zombies running around, the world has no chance. Maybe this whole other group is kind of like, yeah, we're on the same timetable and we want to fuck shit up. And so we want to scare people. We want to take their resources. We want to live life to its extremes. And so, and then you have this group. Well, let's get us back. Save the children fund. Save the Walking Dead fund. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right, let's do this one more time. Hit me, baby, one more time. Oh, baby, baby. Yeah, powers to know. Something that is mine. Oh, baby, baby. Oh, you guys are here.
There we go.
Oh,
All right. Ashley, say something?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm going to start recording now, and yay. I started singing Britney Spears just because it was in my mind.
nice.
Yeah. We had a good edit point there, too, by the way.
Thank
But yeah,
you.
I just thought, with these two different characters having the same mortality rate, you get one doing one to the other, but then Sherry's part of the bad group. Or maybe she joins up with the bad group, so maybe she doesn't have that mortality rate, but she's still kind of along for the ride.
Right.
I could see her being part of the group that's, stringing them all up and doing the hanging
Right.
heads and stuff. And I could see her being part of that.
Right.
And maybe that's how you connect Dwight in terms of the crossover, that Dwight is like still searching for her, and that's how he finds out about her, like through them, and that she's this.
Now she's on the opposite side that he's going to be on. What are they going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do they get her out of it? Because I mean,
Does she want out of it?
Does she want out of it?
Does Dwight become? Is that a pull for Dwight? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like when we leave Sherry, like in the original in The Walking Dead. Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine when we refer to The Walking Dead as the original series? Anyway, that's interesting to me. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they have big plans. I don't know, but she doesn't really leave us on good terms. Like she's not really exactly a straight arrow.
No,
on the show.
No, she's never been like a straight arrow. She's always
get glimmers, but not much.
No. Mm-mm.
So like it perfectly lines up with this kind of challenge now, and that's kind of why I bring her up too. Like I think something's there, something's rife for her to be a part of that group, and then
I would love to see it. I think it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely feel like we're going to see Sherry again, and Fear would be a good platform to play that out, that story of Dwight and Sherry.
For sure.
Yeah.
There's way more room to play that out.
Yeah.
I apparently they don't play that out in the comic as much, I think, right?
No.
It's almost a foregone conclusion.
That's the thing with the comic though. Like I feel like the comic, I don't know, they kind of rush certain things. I mean, Abraham's death was so like
sudden,
anticlimactic and sudden.
Right. Like Rachel's like, I'll say.
I'm laughing at Sherry's death in the comics. I mean, it was like I just stared at it for a few seconds. Like, really?
Like, that's how it ends. So?
Really?
Yeah. And it's just so sudden, like the deaths, not all the deaths, but I mean that was another one that was like, all right, well.
Which again, like, there's so much divergence. Now there's meaning to Dwight. There's meaning to Sherry. There's meaning to Morgan and Carol.
Mm-hmm.
There are themes that they will repeat from the comic, but I just don't think it's going to be A, for the same character, and B, I mean, to move the story along, obviously. But I mean, on the one hand, all bets are off, but on the other hand, it's like, don't be too sure that the character in the comic is going to end up dead.
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. No.
Okay.
You don't know when they're gonna go with the comic or you're off.
They're gonna go with God.
And they love to fake us out.
Which side of the road are they gonna take?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to. We're almost hitting up on the 2-hour mark, but I do want to bring up a little bit of grace because best opening line ever. Take off your clothes, all of them.
All of them. Yeah, I know. I was like, awkward.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what did you think on that note then about her telling him to remove his wedding ring and clean underneath it, and that moment where he's like looking at his band, like, and all that, like he really hasn't removed that wedding ring,
which we saw in the trailer, by the way.
It almost looked like he said wedding ring. Like, what are you talking about?
Forgot it was there.
Forgot about it.
Like he almost kind of forgot about it, that it was even there.
I mean, I'll be honest, I forget about it too.
It's true.
It's kind of a part of me now.
Yeah.
Did we see him put it back on?
Good question.
I think so.
I almost wondered if he was going to leave it off after that. And I tried paying attention, but I didn't see it after that.
Right.
I'm going to be like really watching for it next episode.
Yeah.
And yet you asked. By the way, you asked for more humor, and then the "Don't Mess with Texas" T-shirt. Funny in such a
That was
serious
funny.
character.
Yeah. It was
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
funny.
awesome.
Momo. It's like they're trying to make the serious character on the show look like a dumbass. I love it.
Well, because he's such a straight man that it works, you know.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine getting away with that in The Walking Dead? Again, no.
Well, I will say,
Virginia is for lovers.
yes,
Yeah,
and
that's true. But when
and
was
Abraham-
that?
I don't know. That was Eugene's shirt.
that was it.
But way back.
Right.
But well, yes, like you have to go back. Like Abraham and Eugene had amazing dialogue. I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of YouTube hit parade of Abraham and Eugene dialogue because they had some.
Bisquick.
Right.
I mean, they had some
that was
stellar moments.
That was Glenn. Yeah.
That was Glenn.
But still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
still a good moment.
But it's not
That
even the
was so
fact that
good.
one character is gone. Like, okay, but you can find a way. Like, you could find a way that Daryl's funny, or you could find a way that whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just seemed like the show.
Tara was funny too.
Yeah, but the
Right.
show got
Tara
really
brought a lot of
dark.
comedy.
But even Tara lost her sense of humor at some point. And then obviously season 9 is kind of like, I'm not saying it's an anomaly, but it's like, okay, it started bringing back, you know, some of the humor aspects, even though we're dealing with, like, say, the Whisperers,
Right.
you know? But like, here we are in Fear the Walking Dead. We're only 5 seasons in. There was humor throughout because of Strand and some of his just
Right.
straight,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he's like a straight man that isn't a straight man. He talks kind of funny.
Right.
In some way, like he has this kind of like almost put on austere kind of character, this con man character that he sounds like unbelievable. He does things that are a little outrageous,
Yeah.
you know, like drinking champagne while the Abigail burns. Like he's just
Right.
kind of he's funny in that kind of like in a dark way, like sunglasses while, you know, shooting at zombies who are already dead, you know.
Right.
It's just crazy. Anyway, but I don't know. I just kind of want to bring that out there. But like, what are your impressions of Grace, though? Like, where do you think this character falls in? Do you think this character? I mean, obviously, she has a shelf life, but do you think that she will be kind of a character that'll remain as long as possible?
I mean, I
think
can't
so.
imagine that they introduced her to just kind of be a throwaway.
I think at least
Right.
the whole season.
At least the
Right.
season.
Right.
I think Morgan's going to catch feelings for her.
Ooh.
And then she's gonna die.
And then she's going to die. Yeah,
Of course. Of
100%.
course.
100%, because you can't be happy. It's not.
Told them to get naked.
You have to
Yeah.
open the door to possibilities and then have them shut in your face.
She told
Yes.
him to get naked. The wedding ring removal. I was like,
It's true. A lot of foreshadowing.
So not
I
he and
was like-
Sarah, right? Okay.
I was like, I see where
Momo,
this
get
is
in
going.
bed.
I was like, I see where this is going. All right. And I was like,
Oh.
all right, I can see this.
I don't know. I almost thought like maybe he and Alicia. I know I flirted with this idea that he and Alicia might have something.
Nah.
Ah,
Him and
no.
Grace. Him and Grace.
Yeah, I guess so.
An age difference.
Yeah, but
no.
also I don't know.
Nah, I can't see it.
I can't see it.
I can't see it.
No, I mean I can't. But like if I almost kind of like force myself to, because they
You shouldn't
They're so-
force it.
well like you know what I mean like because you don't want to see it because obviously the age difference, right? But that's
No,
not
it just
strange.
doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
No. Seems more like a father-daughter relationship
Oh my
anyway.
God.
Mhm. Yeah.
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 What about Madison and Morgan sitting in a tree?
More
That ship
strands
failed.
than anything.
Like I mean, just hypothetically.
Nah.
No, Morgan and Grace. When I saw this episode, I was like, yeah, these two are getting together. And
Yeah.
then she's going to die.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like, yeah.
I think that's the weird thing about radiation is that like when is your shelf life if you're exposed to like that many alpha emitters, as she says.
Right. Right.
Like
No.
she doesn't really know.
No.
You know,
She
that's the
doesn't
other
really
thing.
know.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Mm.
I think all of us kind of had. See, here's the thing. At the end of the last season, we all kind of had this impression like, oh yeah, Morgan, he's gonna be fine. He wiped the words off of his head. Blah blah blah. I think he's finally turned a corner. I think, but all of us also simultaneously thought, oh, I think I don't think he quite completely turned the corner. Like I think it was a part of us
Right.
that was kind of like, you wanted to believe it more than you felt like it actually was, But I'm starting to feel like with this thing, whatever's going on with Grace, whether it becomes romantic or not, I feel like that will help you. That will help him turn that corner finally.
It's happening. They're getting together.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I'm saying, do you think this is going to be the thing that heals Morgan?
She'll make him a better man.
Yeah. I think I feel a lot more comfortable saying that he's okay. 100%.
Yeah, I hope so, because right now it seems like he's ready to die trying to help people, and
which is not,
let the people around him die too, just to maybe save somebody.
Yeah, it's more of Alicia, really. But
well, I mean, and he's
just
the one telling her it's not supposed to be easy, helping people, and we can't stop. And Logan screwed us over, but we still need to help the next person. They might screw us over too, but we're still going to help the person after that.
Yeah.
Reckless almost.
I think it's really funny that outside of June, whom we really don't have too much of a gauge of, except for her interactions with John, but outside of June and Morgan, those two characters have it the most together, oddly, in a world where you would think, during last season, we thought these two were the least put together characters. June was all over the goddamn map.
Right.
And Morgan was almost gone. Okay. Right. But here we're in this kind of this bizarre world, this reversal world where Alicia's the worst off.
Right.
And then in a world where Morgan is actually way more together in the head than everybody else. I just find that interesting how that's kind of reversed. John's up shit's creek, Luciana checked out, Alicia, Althea, the person who we thought would be and this is another question I want to ask, and I might as well just get into that. Bizarre world settled. Althea, the one thing we were betting on was that she would have, we would see more of her backstory, but it looks like that backstory was robbed from her because all these people are missing or dead. And so, except for one, which is Daniel Salazar. But what do you? So first of all, the first question I have is: do you think we'll see any of her backstory?
I think so. I don't think she's gone for good.
Well, no, her backstory, but that's where the second question comes in.
Okay.
What do you think is going to happen to her? I mean, it's early
long term.
I guess over the course of the season.
Well, I mean, we'll get her back. That's what we do.
Right.
We do.
Will we?
I think so.
Yeah,
she'll be
I
rescued.
think so.
Yeah, I think so. And that'll be our introduction to whatever this group is.
Yeah.
Say hi to Sherry.
I'm not too sure.
I don't know. Well, the people who took Althea are the ones in the
Suits.
I assume the
super.
What am I trying to say?
Commonwealth suits.
The outfit. Yeah, like the spacesuit.
Mm-hmm.
Uniform, that's the word I was going for. You'd
think it was late.
Right, it's not 12:30 in the morning right now. But I assumed those people took her, right? Not the and I also assume that that's a separate group from the Walker Guts.
Yeah. I think we're all on that same page. Yeah. For sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. The Walker Guts people, the big bad is what we'll call them. The big bad seems completely different than the common.
I don't know though.
New World Order or whatever.
Yeah.
New World Order.
Right.
One of them's going to end up being more long term. One of them we're going to solve early on.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
I don't know which one yet, though.
I feel like we might not even see Althea until at least the mid-season premiere.
Wow.
That's what I feel like.
Really?
I'd give her at least to the finale. I mean, or the break
mid-season thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Before the break.
I would say no. But the only way I'm basing this off sorry. I'm basing this off of the trailers and all the promo materials because from then on all you see is her on a rock face in a river almost drowning. She's not with anybody. And so I'm a little concerned. This actually brings me to my theory. I know we haven't really covered too much. I mean, we covered the bulk of what's really important, but my big ass theory is, and I spoke with Nisa about this, and I don't think she's here anymore, but what if this is first of all, what if this is the last season of Fear the Walking Dead? And what if the only survivor from Fear the Walking Dead, and then not a matter that everybody's dead or everybody's alive, maybe most people are dead. What if this has all been built around the idea that this is Althea's last story? Like that these are the last people that she saw alive. And then she moves on to either the movie or the...
That'd be epic.
You know what I mean?
That would
There's
be,
like, it's sad. It's sad as
sad. It is very sad, but it would be a very epic story.
Right. But she gets to tell this story about the Clarks.
She lives on and is able to carry on this story.
Right.
Like, what's your story was that first episode. Right? And I talked to somebody about this. I'm like, that would be really sad, but I think I would be all right.
It would be poetic.
And then she gets to move on. What was that?
I feel like I would pick somebody else to tell this. Alicia
100%.
would tell Althea's story.
Yeah.
I'm just a big Alicia fan, though.
Oh, hell
That's my position.
I finally started watching the 100 because I didn't know it was
Oh,
out.
did you? Yeah, no,
I didn't know.
I love the 100.
But yeah, but you know, the fact that it's Althea to me is almost like you know, it's like poetic justice. It's like it's the last short story she'll ever get to tell.
Right.
Because she's no longer that person who stands on the sidelines. Like now she's a part of the world because of this really tragic story that she was finally involved in. Right? Like the one story that she decided to step into. Mm-hmm. You know, and then that's the story that
drug into.
Yeah. Well, but she went along with it though. That's the thing.
Right.
Like I think all the regrets, remember that box of tapes that spills out like way in the beginning and she just freaks out about it because she's keeping it special because she wasn't involved. She regretted not helping. And then she finally did get involved and blah. But I think it's ironic because then she earns the right to be a part of the movie. And like she earns the right to become, and then who is she as a person in this part of the Commonwealth or whatever? Is she has she become part of Rick? Is she the voice on the radio at the end of season 9? You know, that's what really like turns my crank. That's like what gets me going. It's like, wow, this could be the beginning of the end.
It could very well be.
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't say that like maybe Morgan and Dwight don't hop along for the ride. I'm not saying I'm not a complete monster, but maybe.
And Alicia, don't kill Alicia. Don't kill my girl Alicia.
But maybe that's what makes it sad.
The whole Clark family just gone.
But it's like,
wiped from
but it's really, really sad. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, if it helps a character move on finally from Fear to The Walking Dead or the movies, I could find a way to be okay with it because there's some poetry in it. And like there's some weird kind of poetry conclusion, you know, like closure, you know, like this weird cover,
Closure.
end page, you know, and then this is how they lived and this is how they lived. Period.
Yeah.
Not
Well, if they decided to end Fear the Walking Dead, it would make sense. Kill off the whole family. Like that family was on that show and that's it.
Right. And this is their
does
tale.
make sense, guys. Fine.
It's not fine. I'm not okay with it. Okay, so we did mention we will see Dwight in the next episode. And look, so we got 5 minutes the Instagram stream, about 20 minutes on the regular stream. Let's see if we can wrap this up. I think we covered it. Is there anything else anybody wants to bring up from these 2 episodes? Like I do think we're going to see more of Wendell and Sarah in the next episode. Finally, like a little bit more.
Finally, yeah.
Do you think we'll see more development from the Logan side of things? Because part of me doesn't think we will.
Kind
of won't be till later.
Yeah.
If
he ends up being an ally, we probably won't see him again until we need help.
Right? Yeah. Which is part of what I was trying to get at before too. Like I do think it's going to be like the ally turn to friend thing,
right?
The common enemy kind of thing.
Yep. Like help us now, or else they're coming for you next. So
like there's a big threat, or the Commonwealth could be the binding glue.
If it's the Commonwealth, they're definitely not winning that fight.
And we're going to need truckers. I don't know.
They're going to win.
Maybe it's not a matter of winning too. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's just a matter of gathering resources to kind of live outside that bubble. You know, whatever it is.
Right.
Or maybe that's what's exhausting Texas, by the way. That's exhausting the resources in Texas is like this presence. Like, okay, that's why people are so beaten down. That's why there's nothing available anywhere. Because this group obviously took Alicia's weapons that she was preparing for doomsday is what John Dory said. For D-Day. D-Day. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, obviously the same thing. Sneak peeks. So it looks like they will be going in the perimeter that the scary signs say not to cross. The scary gut line says not to cross. And by the way, how gross and creepy were the sounds of the heads chomping? Mostly near the end. By the way.
Oh, it was so awesome.
It was, but it was so jarring. I was like, oh God, you could just hear them chomping away. Ooh.
I was waiting for one to fall.
I know.
Yes.
Oh, what if that was a thing too? Like, what if that was what their intention was?
Maybe that is.
That's what I was waiting for.
Oh
And your reaction would be to catch it, right? Because something's falling and you want to.
Ooh, hot potato.
Yes. Oh.
Like Nick would be like, batter up. Right.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
God, it's like a video game. Like literally, like the things that fall from the ceiling.
Yeah.
But not. This is real life.
This is real. Yeah, this is as real life as it
That
gets.
can kill you.
Yeah. 100% real life.
We will see John and June get challenged because it looks like the center of this perimeter, whatever this perimeter is protecting, is like an old West ghost town. How cool.
Well, considering he's a gunslinger.
Yeah. Added bonus. I mean,
I hope we get to see some tricks.
Again, another example of Texas
just
being a
think-
character.
I just think his character is so cool too. I think
Ugh.
Yandor is awesome.
I'm in the right place. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep. Yep. 100%.
Right. And then we will see Dwight, and that's basically the extent of the sneak peeks. And then that beginning thing with actions speaking louder than words. I don't know what she's talking about. Luciana to, was it Alicia? I think it was.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, there's words and then there's actions. We chose action. That's what she said, kind of, right? I wonder what that means, though. Like, I wonder what they're alluding to. And she's still obviously very drugged up.
I was going to say that might be part of it.
I think maybe we're moving her onto this kind of comic relief kind of character right now. I'm not hating it, actually. I mean, if you can move her off of like the helpless animal kind of thing to this kind of, this is her role for the rest of the mid-season. Like, just being a drugged up, out of commission character. Like, what now?
Somebody get her an accordion.
It's like the Mr.
Right?
Magoo.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, if you're old enough to remember Mr. Magoo, that's like her character.
Yeah.
Well, I don't hate on that.
Aw.
It's fine with me. That's a strong female lead right there. You can be comic relief too.
Nice.
Anyway, fight the power. I'm right here. What? Anyway, yeah, I think that really covers it. Oh, and we just lost Instagram. Okay.
Oh,
well,
bye.
sorry. Sorry about that. Doesn't matter to me. Sorry, Jared.
He's probably sleeping. So.
Yeah. All right. So with that, everybody, I think we'll call it a night
All
in
right.
shining armor.
All right.
Let me see here.
Sounds
and
good.
let me see that window close. Ugh. Anyway, that's fine. Yeah. Okay. So here's what we're trying to do. We discussed it and the polls are in, and it looks like we are going to try covering Fear the Walking Dead just after the episode airs. So tune in after Fear the Walking Dead on Sunday nights for most of you. Obviously, a lot of you guys are in different markets. Sorry. But you can always catch the replay on either Facebook or YouTube, or catch the audio podcast, which is usually shorter because of concatenation and editing and whatnot. Anyway, and you can always comment. I'm always there answering, so
He is
it's all you.
very good about that.
I mean, you guys, if you go on Facebook, I think everybody will chime in and go on to the YouTubes. We all know the channel. We all can keep track. But yeah, stay tuned. Tune in live after the show on Sunday night. This is going to be obviously 9. This is going to be 10 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So join in, like, subscribe, comment if you can't. And you know what? As always, just turn on the notifications whenever. Turn on the notifications so you get immediately notified when we go live on either Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. I said YouTube already, right? Facebook. Anyway, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. All right? Do right. Let's say goodnight, everybody. Until then,
Adios.
Good night.
see you on Sunday night. Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Streaming. Please stop streaming.